Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, everybody. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and to another installment in the Keweenaw and Scenic Valley Railroad build. In the previous installment, you will have seen me construct most of the backdrops for the middle level. If you recall, there were still 2 sheets of masonite that I had to leave off until after the upper helixes had been built. Well, for this week's installment, I am going to get those helixes built to the point where I can install those 2 missing sheets of backdrop. So without further ado, let's just head out to the workshop and get to work. Well, it seems to have taken me quite a while to get this far, but it should go quickly now. I have got all the supports absolutely perfect, and I've got the first half lap of the roadbed or sub roadbed lined up where it needs to go. All the wood hinge supports are glued in place, and I'm going to go around and add all the packing pieces in and get everything permanently attached where it needs to go. When I say permanent, this is the level that has to come apart, which is why I'm putting angled screws in so that I can get in between the levels. Well, this helix is now as far as I can take it today. I've cut a whole bunch of roadbed pieces for the other helix, and now I need to move over here and get working on this one. The first thing I've got to do is go in the house and check the start height. I know I did calculate it, but I don't want to rely on memory and risk getting it wrong. So let me go in, get that number, and I'll be right back. Well, I haven't really got time to assemble the first lap of the other helix, but I have got most of the parts cut. These are the legs and tops for the wood hinge section. And these are all the spacers, well, most of the spacers that go between the laps of the helix. I've got 207 here, plus the master. I don't think it's quite enough, but it'll be a good start. As I say, I haven't really got time to assemble this helix to get it to the same state as this one. But what I can do is get some track laid around here, so that I don't have to reach under the upper helix. It'll be easier doing it now. Well, today is Saturday, and I don't really want to spend all day out here, but I want to get the second helix to the same state as this one, with the wood hinge and the first lap of roadbed on. I don't expect it to take all day. I've also tried a different camera placing for the time lapse. I put a new shelf up this side of the window instead of in this corner. I don't know if it's going to be any good, but I will try it out there and see if I like the view at the end of the day. So let me get on with today's work, and I'll check in with you again later. Don't go away. That is all the conventional standard legs done. All the others are specials. This one I have the exit piece to do, so that will be a special leg in this gap. And then these two will have one full leg and then one short leg. And then the one next to it needs to be a little bit wider with an off-centered top, because the legs are not perpendicular at that point. So let me get all the non-standard ones in now, and I'll be right back. Well, all the non-standard ones have been built. This is the only one that has been permanently attached. This one is long at the moment. I will just cut it off to length in situ once the roadbed above it has been installed. And these just hang off the edge of the track that cuts through it. So I'm going to get these all glued in place, get some roadbed on top, and then I will be almost caught up with the other helix. Well, it's only about halfway through the day and I have accomplished what I wanted to. This helix is caught up with the other one. Well, technically it's not quite, because I haven't got the entry board in yet. I've still got to work that out. I've got the supports for it, but I've still got to cut a piece of roadbed to go in there, and I will do that once I have some more pieces. I've cut up all the small offcuts so far for blocking, so I'll cut some more curved roadbed, and I will use one of the corners, one of the leftover parts for that. So I guess I will head inside for a couple of days, and I'll be back out here on Monday or Tuesday. Don't go away. Well, I've cut the entry piece for this Helix. It's not attached yet, but it will be soon. I've also taken out all the temporary screws for this first lap, just to make sure I didn't have any stray glue holding it down, and there wasn't. And now I put some clamps back on, and I'm in the process of going around installing the permanent screws from underneath. Well, I have now screwed down the first lap of both upper helixes, and I have the fences on, the roadbed marked. I have a whole load of extra parts cut. Next step tomorrow is to come out and lay some roadbed and then some track. I'm not going to start that now because it's getting late. I didn't get out here till well after noon. It's only been a couple of hours today, so considering how short a time I've been out here, progress is pretty good. So I will just leave you till tomorrow, and I'll check in with you again later. Don't go away. Well, as I said last night, I didn't get much done because I was only out here for a short time. But today I have much longer. My goal for the day is to do one more lap of each helix. First thing I'm going to have to do is get some roadbed cut and glued down, and then I'll go inside, get a handful of track, get that laid, and then I can continue with the sub roadbed for the next level. Well, I have cut and installed some foam rubber roadbed, and I've curved some micro engineering flex track to the right radius. I'm just about to start making the special piece where I join the ME track to Pico to make the transition, and then I've got to do 4 of those, and then it's just on to racing up the Helix. Well, I've now laid 14 yards of track, 6 on this Helix and 8 on the other one. I wasn't thinking yesterday. I ended up using shorter pieces of fencing. As a result, I ended up not being able to put quite as much roadbed in, and therefore not as much track. But that doesn't really matter. Once I've got the feeder wires in, I'm going to continue the roadbed anyway. Something else I forgot to do yesterday was put the step in here for where I go from thin to thick roadbed. That's not a big deal. I already figured out how I'm going to do it. I'm just going to cut this flange off, glue another one underneath, and then this piece here will have packing underneath it. So that's pretty easy. It's no big deal. Anyway, I have to now go inside and check what colour feeder wires I plan to use for the Helix. So don't go away, I'll be right back. Well, all the feed wires have now been soldered to the rails on both Helixes. I haven't got the bus wires in yet. I'm delaying that because I want to attach them to the second lap of the Helix, not the first lap. But anyway, I am now ready to continue with bench work. It's time to put the track laying tools away, get out the carpentry tools, and add some more sub roadbed around over here. Well, this is about all I have time for today. I've just been alternately doing all the various steps on both helixes, and I've got slightly more than one lap of everything on each. So I think that's a reasonably good day's work. I'm going to head in now, and I will be back out again tomorrow. Don't go away. Well, it's Wednesday morning. I've just cleared off all the tools and the weights and everything, got everything organised. Just a case of continuing where I left off yesterday. Next thing I'm going to work on is getting the roadbed and the track around here, and then I can put the long piece on, the full horseshoe that goes more than halfway around the loop. I want to do that because I have two splices in the same place stacked one above the other at this point. So that's why I want to put the long one on over the top of it. What I'm doing in most places is using the occasional shorter piece so I stagger the joints. But that's the length of the piece I had, which is why I ended up with two joints stacked above each other there. Anyway, it'll take me a few minutes to get organised, get back up to speed, and I will just check in with you again periodically. Don't go away. Well, that is all the sub roadbed I have cut. I have put about half a lap on this one and almost a full lap on this one. I'm going to go in now, get some lunch, and then when I come out it'll be time to get the track caught up on both helixes and cut some more sub roadbed. So don't go away, I'll check in with you again later. Well, it's still a little bit early, but I've had enough. The next thing I'm going to do is get a long piece of roadbed around, sub roadbed around here. Got that big horseshoe that you can see in the distance in the middle of the frame right now. Going to get that installed. All the track is caught up and wired. Just put all the feeders in on the top laps of both, well, the top laps of what I've done on both helixes. This one has just one more lap to go, and the one over here has 2 more laps to go. So I'm going to head in now and continue tomorrow. Don't go away. Well, although neither helix is finished, I have done pretty much all I can on them for now. The problem is that I have run out of this door skin plywood that I'm using for the safety fences. I forgot to buy another sheet last time I was at Lowe's getting lumber. So I'm going to have to wait until next week before I can continue. I did, however, get a little bit lucky in that I had just enough to get past the critical points on both areas where the backdrop needs to wait. When it comes round on the final lap, it will be above the lower level backdrop, so it won't be an issue. So I can now get this piece of masonite in and the equivalent piece over the other side across here. And of course there's loads more stuff I can get on with. Once I've got those two pieces of backdrop in, I can spackle all the holes and get them painted. I also need to get the bus wires in throughout the middle deck. I need to work out what colours they are. I think the branch line gets the red and black, and the main line gets the blue and white. But I will go inside and check it before I run them. So I've got plenty I can get on with. I'm just going to get back to work. I'll check in with you again later. Don't go away. Well, I have run out of time for today, but I've got a lot done. I've got about half a lap on each helix. I've finished the backdrop in those two areas, and I've run all the bus wires from this corner round about halfway around the room. And I have reached this terminal block here. So I'm just going to head in now, and I will check in with you again tomorrow. Don't go away. Well, I have now extended the bus wires all the way to the end. And I have also hooked up the feeders in this helix. I'm going to head in now, get some lunch, and then I'll continue this afternoon. Don't go away. Well, the other helix is now wired up. The bus wires and all the feeders are properly connected, and I have tested both of them. It's still way too early to go in, so I'm just going to go around. I'm going to sand and spackle the backdrop. That will take up another hour or two, and then that'll be a more reasonable time to finish. So let me get on with that, and I'll be right back. Well, that didn't take very long. I bought colour indicator spackle. It goes on bright pink, and then as it dries it turns white. Tells you it's dry enough to sand. The seams that are also benchwork joints will of course need redoing after it's installed in the client's train room, but there'll be a lot less work than if I didn't touch them at all now. Well, that's all for this week. Hope you enjoyed the presentation, and I hope to see you again next time. Thanks for watching and bye for now.